Good afternoon, and thank you all for joining us here this afternoon. I want to thank Chief Bryan, Assistant Chief Potts, the Division of Police Director Reese, and her great team at Recreation and Parks, Councilmember Remy, and all members working so closely together with us. This week marks the unofficial start of summer. Certainly feels like it with the temperatures we're enjoying over the last several days and those ahead. We're on the other side of Memorial Day, and today is the last day of class for Columbus City Schools. There's a lot to look forward to in the coming weeks in our community: festivals, concerts, pride, parades, boom, camps, pools, and more. And through it all, in every neighborhood, our message is clear. Our message is the same. Safety is our city's top priority. Know that we're committed to doing all that we can to ensure a safe and successful summer, particularly for our children, teens, and youth. It's why we are once again making unprecedented investments in summer programming to provide fun and engagement through structure and stability. 2 weeks ago, we all announced more than $20 million for summer programming, a record investment, including $9 million that is going to more than 90 community organizations for everything from programming, summer youth employment, paid internships, and so many others. These groups offer safe, constructive opportunities for youth to learn, grow, and stay active, building upon the camps, classes, and programs that we already offer through numerous departments here at the city. This includes funding for programs that are specifically designed to steer kids away from violence and other dangerous behaviors, like ReRoute and TAPS, both of which take our prevention and intervention efforts to the next level. Director Bernita Reese will fill you in on some of the specifics, including an award for one of our violence intervention programs. We're also bolstering policing citywide. Everyone has heard a lot about our recent efforts in the Short North. In a few minutes, Assistant Chief Potts will give you the statistics, but it's fair to say we're seeing great success there, with 2 peaceful weekends in a row thanks to our officers and members of the community working together, doing all they can to protect that neighborhood and everyone who dines, shops, and lives there. But our focus extends beyond the Short North. Our focus includes every neighborhood in Columbus. Today, I'm announcing that we're launching Operation Moonlight for the second year, allowing us to go above and beyond to place our officers in specific locations at the times they're needed most. We're able to do this by supplementing existing patrols through voluntary overtime. So this will not take our officers responding to calls from service away from their work or those that are doing community policing. This is a total cost commitment of $2 million, up from the $1.6 million that we spent last year on this. And again, let me be clear, we're not pulling away any officers from their assigned shifts or duties. We're adding additional officers who would otherwise be off. At the same time, we're stepping up enforcement and surveillance using portable lights and cameras to help deter crime and keep at bay the kinds of conditions that typically give rise to acts of violence. Director Reese will tell you about how they're using them at our parks, but know that because they're portable, we can move them anywhere in the city based on needs or latest crime trends. I'm also happy to announce that the city's Safe Streets program starts again on Sunday citywide, deploying uniformed bike officers to strengthen our patrols in various neighborhoods and connect with residents to form new connections and build lasting trust. Safe Streets has proven successful in years past by establishing channels of dialogue and communication between our officers and the public. And know this, we will monitor and evaluate Operation Moonlight and Safe Streets throughout the summer. If more resources are necessary, they will be granted. Whatever it takes, we will invest, collaborate, cooperate, and work together to make sure our city is safe. Our approach in all these efforts is holistic. It's comprehensive, data-driven, and it's proactive. None of this would be possible without strong collaboration among city departments, our vast network of community partners and local agencies at every level of government and in every industry, who are all doing their best to improve quality of life and build a brighter future for our city. To talk more about all that the Columbus Division of Police is doing to reduce violent crime and improve neighborhood safety, it's my pleasure to introduce Assistant Police Chief LaShawna Potts.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Ginther, Councilman Remy, and Director Reese. As Mayor Ginther stated, today is the last day for students at Columbus City Schools. As summer approaches, many young people will be enjoying our beautiful parks, cooling off in our beautiful pools, and engaging in summer fun at our community centers or just hanging out, as teens do, enjoying themselves in the community. All of these locations will now have more additional Columbus police officers present. Operation Moonlight, which was highly successful last year, is now in full swing. This initiative will put up to 40 additional officers in high visibility areas during key times during the summer. We will continue to monitor our data so that officers are put where they need to be. We will continue Operation Burnout in every area of the city that targets the reckless operation of motor vehicles, takeovers of city streets, businesses, private properties, along with all related criminal activity. We have found great success since starting approximately a month ago in multiple parts of the city. Operation Burnout, just to give you an idea of what our officers are doing, this past weekend in the Short North, they wrote 86 traffic citations, 14 misdemeanor summons, 9 curfew violations, 3 felony arrests, recovered 2 realistic BB guns, 1 incident of drugs seized, 210 parking citations, and we impounded 95 vehicles. These results mean that our messaging is being received. We will continue to leverage all resources to disrupt violent, disruptive behavior in any kind, not just in the Short North, but in the Hilltop, on the East Side, in Linden, any and everywhere where we are needed. Our goal is not arrests and citations. Our goal is safety. Safety for every neighborhood and every resident in the city of Columbus. After reviewing our data and the progress that we have made over the last several weekends, we will scale back parking restrictions to allow parking along the southbound lanes of High Street between Goodale and Fifth Avenue. Street parking along the northbound lanes of High Street will still not be permitted after 10 p.m. We will be utilizing bike officers wherever we can across the city for engagement and enforcement activity. We know that residents love our bike officers, and our bike officers love engaging with our residents. They allow officers to move more freely than officers in our cruisers. Last year, to give you an example of just the great work that was done by the men and women of this division, they checked 375 businesses, churches, and schools. They attended 169 community events, worked 523 hours attending community meetings and events, made 107 felony arrests, seized 96 firearms, and spent more than 2,000 hours on their bikes. With the addition of the new zone, Zone 6, it has helped us balance our calls for service across the city. This has more evenly distributed the workload for our patrol officers, creating more opportunities for stronger relationships between our officers and the neighborhoods that they serve. We are also excited that on Sunday, we have 29 additional officers who would have been completed successfully their field training program. These officers, in addition to 31 officers that are in the second phase of coaching that will hit the streets in August. All of our operations today discussed have been successful and are very well received by every community member in the city of Columbus, due to the fact that we are also community driven. This is not about enforcement. This is about us working with our community partners to collaboratively decrease the violent crime in the city of Columbus. Just a few examples of some of the things that we're doing on the community engagement. Our community liaison officers will host events such as the Fairmore Resource Fair and Fun Day this Saturday. We will also be at every Rise Up event across the city throughout the summer. But not only that, we are planning our first annual car show. We will have a teen summit program, teen town hall, and a plethora of other things from the division perspective that not only engages youth, but also makes us more approachable to the community that we serve. We will also, in addition to that, be at parades, festivals, fairs to make sure all residents and visitors feel safe. This summer is going to be a busy one, and you can expect to see our dedicated men and women, not only in uniform but also in plain clothes, working together with the community to build a safer, stronger Columbus. But we also ask that this is not just a police effort. This has to take the cooperation of not just us as police officers, but we're asking parents, make sure you know where your kids are, make sure that you're encouraging that they be home at 10 o'clock for the curfew. We want to get ahead of this curve. We know that we can do it working collaboratively together to decrease crime and make sure that our residents, our youth, have a fruitful summer and they enjoy the summer without more gun violence. Thank you. And with that, I would like to introduce Columbus Recreation and Parks Director, Bernita Reese.
We just keep lowering the mic. Thank you, Assistant Chief Potts, Mayor Ginther, Councilmember Remy. Good afternoon. I just want to reiterate, and that is that our parks and our community centers are safe. Sometimes that's questionable, but we are safe. We continue to enhance safety efforts to ensure that our parks remain safe. Thanks to the funding approved by Columbus City Council, our safety effort in parks are once again, they're bolstered by 25 portable cameras, 7 light towers. These cameras and lights are portable, so they're able to be moved depending on where they need to go. These cameras can be monitored in real time, and we can relocate them as needed in consultation by the Division of Police. It's important that we offer fun, safe programs for our children all year round, as well as during our summer months. So it's not just during our summer months, but it's all year long. We want to make sure we're providing this. Summer camps will be starting soon. As today is the last day of camp, we clapped out a group over at one of the schools with the crew on today. But we're starting as soon as next week. We still have openings in some of our summer camps, including sports camps, life sports that we partner with Ohio State University, The Ohio State University, Camp Public Health, and Police and Fire Camp. So make sure if you're looking for a spot, if you have not registered your children, if you're looking for somewhere for your children to be, please visit columbusrecparks.com, camps to register. The Teen Impact Program, that's another program, as we know this is an age group that we're looking at, provides teens ages 12 to 18 with necessary skill for adulthood, leadership programs, safety, as well as personal business skills. Participants learn about digital imprint, leadership, entrepreneurship, financial literacy, cultural awareness, and current events. CWOW, our Center Without Walls, is for youth in elementary and middle school and reaches youth who live in areas without community centers. We're making sure we reach all areas of the city. We want to make sure that there are safe walking routes to the nearest location for them to participate in these programs. We also offer programs designed to reduce violence. As you all have heard us talk about APS, the Job Readiness Program helps youth prepare for and keep jobs, not just during our summer, but all year long. It's developing them in financial literacy and internships within the city of Columbus. The Voice Program. This program offers intensive case management services to victims of crime to prevent re-injury and incarceration. The work of this dedicated team is not just with the Columbus Recreation and Parks, but it's also with Columbus Public Health. It just received a national award from the National Recreation and Park Association with over 12,000 agencies competing for awards. Late night basketball is offered at 10 community centers throughout the week between 6 p.m. and 11 p.m. Our pools are opening for the summer. Our admission is only $1. That's very low. You don't get too much for $1 nowadays. Community centers offer summer activities. They're open to the public. We're extending our hours at certain community centers to offer safe places for our young people to gather in the evening hours. Linden, Westgate, Barrick, Driving Park. Once again, please visit our website. It's community and all of the initiatives that we have around the city. We can't do this alone. It's not going to take just Columbus Recreation and Parks. It's not Columbus Police Department, but it takes all of us to join in. It's important that our parents, our caregivers, our guardians get our youth engaged in these programs and create some positive activities for our children all summer long. Thank you. And at this time, I'd like to hand it over to Councilman Remy.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mayor Ginther, First Assistant Chief Potts, and Director Reese. School's out. Summer is here. And as a family with elementary school kids and middle school kids and a wife that's a teacher, I know this countdown has been going on for quite some time, and everyone is excited across the city to be out. But we want to make sure that you see all of us here standing in unity, working together so that it is a safe and healthy summer. As chair of the Public Safety Committee for Council, keeping Columbus residents safe in our neighborhoods, rec centers, and parks this summer is my top priority. I stand here representing the rest of Council who stand in solidarity that this is a priority one for Council colleagues and everyone here today. Over the last month, your Columbus City Council has passed legislation to make significant investments into our safety summer strategy. We approved over $500,000 for continuing the rental of temporary lights and security cameras for deployment in our city parks or anywhere else that are needed. We passed legislation to approve double time rates for police officers, sergeants, and lieutenants to work voluntary scheduled overtime for special city operations such as Operation Moonlight, summer festivals, and more. Further, Council passed over $8.9 million in a total with the mayor of $20 million to fund over 90 community organizations that will work directly with our Columbus youth. At the end of this month, our fire and police officers will come together for a public safety week to demonstrate to the community how our first responders work together, help our community together, and encourage all of our residents to join with us to fight this fight together. The number one priority that my office continues to hear about from residents every day, the number one issue is public safety. That is what I hear at community meetings. It's what I hear when I attend area commissions, and it's what I hear at civic associations. It's what I hear when I run to the store at Kroger on Morris Road and get stopped several times before I can check out. These are our streets. These are our neighborhoods. We will not let a small handful of people make the rest of us feel uneasy where we live, where we work, or we play in our rec centers and parks. Everyone in our great city deserves to feel safe. It is my commitment that we will not stop trying new programs, supporting new initiatives, and bolstering existing programs until we all can unequivocally say we feel safe. My council colleagues join me in our commitment to funding, partnering, and promoting everything we can to keep Columbus safe this summer in every neighborhood. Thank you, and now I'll turn the podium back over to Mayor Ginther.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you, Councilmember Remy, and thank you as well to Columbus City Council. Neighbors, we just laid out the latest of what we're doing right now to keep our city and residents safe. Here's the bottom line. The city is doing everything we can to protect children and families and to make all of our neighborhoods safer. But a lot of this hinges on vigilance, accountability, and communication within the home as well. We need moms and dads, aunts and uncles, grandparents, cousins, everyone, to stand up and do everything they can to keep their kids and teens safe. There's a citywide curfew, as the First Assistant Chief Potts mentioned, on the books. Everyone between the ages of 13 and 17 needs to be off the streets from midnight through 4:30 in the morning. We need you to do your part by factoring in this curfew when you set the time that everyone must be in at your home. And we need you to enforce it. If you don't, we will. More often than not, it comes down to knowing where our kids are and who they're with. There's no excuse for any teen to be out and about unsupervised in the middle of the night, especially in the light of the gun violence that is gripping this nation. We've been dealt the most dangerous and reckless gun laws in the history of our state. Concealed carry, permitless carry, stand your ground, and all the national public health studies and journals show that the states with the most dangerous and reckless gun policy have the highest incidence of gun violence. In the midst of all that, we continue to push forward. We believe that gun laws that allow practically anyone to own a gun makes us all less safe. All of us need to do more, to do everything within our power to keep our families free from harm. Our children deserve every chance to thrive and succeed, to lead happy and fulfilling lives, and we're going to give it to them. Together, we can make it a safe and exciting summer for everyone here in Columbus. We'd be happy to answer any questions from the press.
I have a question for Chief Potts.
Yeah.
Do you have the staffing levels to do all of these programs without forcing overtime, without forcing officers canceling first days off?
So you never can say what you can't force someone to do. I will say officers have been doing this detail since the summer started. They did it all last year, and we didn't force anyone. But can that happen? Yes. Can we restrict days? Absolutely. Is it in the chief's power to do so? Yes. But I'll tell you, officers are signing up. We don't have enough spots right now for as many officers who want to work. For them, double time is an incentive. For us, getting more officers on the street is our incentive. For the community, seeing more boots to the ground is an incentive. So I got to thank, City Council, Mayor Ginther. Our officers deserve everything that they're getting because we're asking them to do a lot. And they're out here doing it day in, day, making sure that the citizens are safe. And they're giving up their summer. And so if they're giving up their summer, I'm gladly paying them what that's worth.
But the division has already canceled first day off for weekend of Pride.
We do that anyway. That has nothing to do with this detail.
Yeah, we've been really, First Assistant Chief Potts' point, just grateful to the officers. The turnout we've seen with Operation Burnout this summer, Operation Moonlight last summer, incredible amounts of officers who are raising their hand to do more because they believe in neighborhood and community safety, and they're doing a great job in responding to the call from the public.
You mentioned the parking, going to be some changes in the short north over the weekend. What about the police staffing? Are they going to see the same numbers? Are you going to slowly reduce that? What's that going to look like this weekend?
Chief Potts?
So we're following our data. If we feel that we don't need more officers in the short north, we'll move them where we do believe that we need more officers. We're going to consistently look at our data and follow the trends. Right now, because we're opening up one side of the street on High, we understand that we may not need as many officers as we had, but we didn't just have Columbus police officers. We had a multitude of other agencies that were there assisting us. And so we'll keep monitoring. If we have to restrict, if we have to open up, we'll do that as our data tells us to.
Today's Thursday. It's tomorrow. Have you made those decisions yet?
We're in the process of making all decisions. We've already opened up the streets, as I've told you. We're looking at our officers where they're needed. We constantly, when you follow data, you don't just look at it 1 hour of the day. It's continuous, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Right now, we're thinking we're going to scale back, but if we find out on Friday and Saturday that we can't, then we won't.
I think what's important to remember is that Operation Burnout was never just a Short North strategy. It was in place in other neighborhoods before the Short North, and I know that Chief Bryant's plan is for us to take that to other neighborhoods this summer. So it's going to be an ongoing operation and effort to make sure that we're doing everything we can to stay on offense against violent crime in neighborhoods throughout the city.
The cameras that will be used in the short north, are those going to be taken from parks, or are those in addition to the 25 that have been placed in parks?
So the cameras, the reason they're portable, both the cameras and lighting is to move around. So they're not necessarily assigned to any one park. There are certain places around based on, again, information that's been shared from the Division of Police with Recreation and Parks. They may have stayed longer and been part of that effort there. But some of the lights and cameras in the short north have come from other parts of town, and obviously over time, and as Operation Burnout moves to other neighborhoods, the lighting and cameras may very well follow.
About this time last year where shootings at community centers did ramp up, at least we saw a few in a short period of time. We mentioned the cameras and the Operation Safe Streets. Are there any plans to maybe keep officers at community centers that are rather crowded, or when things start to escalate? How are we going to deal with that and hopefully prevent this before it happens?
Well, I think a lot of what we've talked about is, certainly trying to prevent and be, again, aggressive about where we have our officers. This record investment in Operation Moonlight and Safe Streets, we think will go a long way towards that. I'll let Assistant Chief Potts speak to police staffing at pools and recreation centers. But I think once you saw Operation Moonlight and our efforts around these portable lights and cameras, we saw some great success. And after those were in place and fully staffed, we had a pretty relatively safe summer after a couple of isolated incidents of violence. But First Assistant Chief Potts, that's a mouthful. First Assistant Chief Potts. You want to speak to that?
Yes. So there are locations where we will have 2 officers that are permanently assigned, and that's because those recreation centers have pools attached to them. So we do have a pool detail that will be consistent for 8 hours while the pools are open to have consistent officer presence. But our officers are going to go everywhere they're needed, and they want to be out there. They're committed to keeping the citizens safe and the city of Columbus safe, and they've been doing that through all of our staffing challenges. We know where the crime is happening. We're using our data to leverage that, and we also have a phenomenal relationship with Parks and Rec, as well as other city entities within the city of Columbus.
So when it comes to staffing, this last weekend there was a large party, 7 people, mostly teenagers, were shot. A gentleman called our newsroom and said he called CPD dispatchers and said there's a large party, they're noisy, they're not following the laws, and dispatchers told him at that time that they didn't have enough officers to respond. And this was prior to the shooting. Are there enough officers in the streets to respond to calls like this?
There absolutely are. We didn't find out about that call until afterwards. We had Operation Burnout officers. We had some officers who were working Moonlight. Resources could have been redirected. However, you know that we don't handle the 911 call center. But we've now, with the help of DC Smith-Weir, we're now tracking if there are any parties that we become aware of. We're putting resources where they need to be. So we're looking at that for this weekend as well.
And I think it underscores the importance of parents and caregivers, right? So we had a couple of children involved with stealing a car, a 12-year-old behind the wheel that injured several of our first responders and received them to get off the clock to have their injuries looked at local hospitals. 12 years old, a couple of other teenagers, several guns seized. Parents, we need you. We need folks to step up here. Young girl who was shot, I believe, in South Franklinton. It was at 4 in the morning. What are we doing here? We need parents in this community to step up and do their part. And there are resources available if there are families in crisis and need. But leaving 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, in the case of the large party, there were several 16, 17. We need parents to step up and do their jobs and do their part. Police, recreation and parks, we're going to step forward, make these record investments, do everything we can. But the rest of the community has to step up as well.
We've seen community groups say they've been asking for this kind of rhetoric and enforcement of the curfew law, of some of these other measures for youth in recent years, and the tone has always been, well, that's a parent problem, we can't enforce it, we can't enforce it. What's changed that now we're going to enforce curfew, we're going to...
I don't think that's true. I mean, if you take a look back at my statements over the last several years, curfew's always been in place. And what I've asked parents to do is to have a curfew in place in their household and to enforce it. We will continue to do whatever we can to make sure we're protecting young people, but also protecting the community. And so I think, based on what we've shared here today, this is work that we've been doing over the last several years. It's why we were able to drop homicides and violent crime by 33% between 21 and 22. We've seen an uptick this year, and so we have to be vigilant. We have to remain on offense to keep kids safe. Part of that is the city's responsibility, but parents have to be part of the solution here as well, and the rest of the community and faith leaders and business leaders. We all have a role to play. We know what we need to do. We've seen success, and now we have to recommit to one another to do our part.
How are you going to define success with these programs and this
The
investment?
bottom line is we need violence to go down, period.
Have you had conversations with business owners in the Short North about these changes to possibly scale back and opening up?
We've
the
been in
street?
constant communication with business owners and the Short North Business Alliance. I know the Department of Public Safety and the Division of Police have been, and I've been in touch with them as well.
What's been the response from them?
I think they've been grateful that we have, made an unprecedented effort to make sure that that neighborhood is as safe as we all are accustomed to it being. It's very important for their employees, for their customers, for the residents that live in the Short North. The Short North is important to us, but every neighborhood is important to us. And we want to take the success of Operation Burnout that worked in neighborhoods before the Short North, and that we're going to move to other neighborhoods after the Short North to be successful there too. Thanks, everybody.